CSIRO operates in a world that is constantly changing. The outside drivers, the styles of management, the expectations on our organization and its people change constantly. We have to change our organization accordingly. When we do that, we have to do it very well, or we waste a lot of energy, we waste a lot of time, we frustrate staff, we frustrate our clients. We knew that to meet the national challenges around energy, we needed to be more visible and more integrated in the work we do. We had separate lines of work in fossil fuels, coal, oil, as well as renewables. What we decided to do was merge all those portfolios into an Uber flagship that presented all of CSIRO's ideas and capabilities in the energy sector.
In the past, there weren't any standardized approach to change management. Different areas were managing change in different ways.
In executing change management, there's three things you've got to do, and you got to do them well. First, you got to have a change management plan. You got to know what you're doing, what you're trying to achieve. The second is you have to have an excellent project that takes you from one end of that plan to the other. And the third, you need excellent leadership. You have to have people to lead that process and deliver on it in a consultative and intelligent fashion.
I think the ProSite tool was really important, at least for me, at the very beginning of the change program, because it helped us to identify what are all of the critical steps that we need to keep an eye on, making sure that we don't overlook, for instance, the impact on particular groups of staff, etc., that we have a solid change management plan in place. As any tool, obviously, it's only half the game. The other half is how we're actually implementing it.
Managing any change can be difficult, but having the right tools in place allows you to modify and change your approach. It's so important to have a strong executive sponsor. That is an absolute must. You don't have to lead the change yourself. It's actually the role of the executive sponsor, and your role is to support the executive sponsor. There were times where we received feedback from staff that we weren't doing things right, so we took that on board. It's not going to be a straight linear process that you can go right from A to B. There's going to be bumps along the way. At the end of the day, it's around making sure that staff are on board and they understand the change, and we get to the outcomes that we want to achieve.
One of the things we did was we challenged the team leaders to be the frontline communicators about the change and about the project.
We kept them informed. We provided multiple avenues for them to provide feedback to us on how the change was going.
We had an anonymous feedback form, so people, if they felt they didn't want or couldn't identify themselves, they could actually put feedback in through the anonymous form. As we got questions and we heard what was being asked out in the business, when we put a communication out, even if we didn't have any news, we'd reinforce our messages. And if we didn't know at that point, we said we didn't know, but as soon as we knew, we'd let them know.
One of the key messages is don't create mass panic if you don't need to. You focus and target your change and communicate to the right people that you need to.
There might be some people who are cynical about change. I think the only thing that we can do about it is continuing to explain why the changes happen. Actually also acknowledge that this is probably not going to be the last time that we have been exposed to change. And in fact, we are living in a very disruptive business. I think the whole point of R&D is to actually come up with something new.
For me, working with that small group of 3 in the change team and working with Tom was such an amazing experience. And for me, it was the trust between that team, the trust that Tom had for us. It gave me a great deal of confidence.
It is the best decision I ever took to put the process in the hands of professionals that understand change management, that worked with me and my team to take a more systematic and thoughtful approach to this journey we were on.
What we have now is we've got common language across CSIRO. We've got great tools that we can utilise and use, and genuine consultation with staff.
The next time I'm faced with, again, making another change in the organization, I'll simply insist on using this kind of thoughtful process with trained people to help me do it. We just can't go back from that. I'm a convert.